the U.S. Mint is supposed to issue as many Silver Eagles as is demanded by public. It's in the charter. It's law. And they didn't. 100% they didn't. So are they stockpiling silver? Were they putting it away and viewing it as strategic? And when you look at the gold that went missing from Saddam Hussein and from Gaddafi, where did all of that gold and silver go? And what about the 12 billion that the Ukraine sold to fund the war? My point is that we don't update any of these numbers, gold and silver, but I will tell you, in my mind, Kerry, the military-industrial complex is probably the ones pulling the string.
The silver market is at a critical juncture, with prices hovering around the $31 mark ahead of the Federal Reserve's highly anticipated monetary policy decision. Industry analysts suggest that a breakthrough above the September 16th high of $31.10 could signal a fresh upward trajectory for the white metal. The near-term outlook appears bullish, as silver maintains its position above the 20-day exponential moving average of approximately $29.30. AndySchectman, president and CEO of prominent bullion dealer Miles Franklin, offers intriguing insights into the current silver market dynamics. Schectman points to speculation that the military-industrial complex may be influencing silver prices to ensure a steady supply of advanced technologies, weapons, and aerospace applications. This comes when global silver availability is decreasing, while demand for green energy and digital technologies continues to surge. The industrial sector's appetite for silver has grown significantly, now accounting for 64% of global usage, a marked increase from 50% just a year ago, representing a 19% rise. This surge in industrial consumption is further fueled by the expanding electric vehicle market and advancements in battery technology. The shifting landscape of silver mining adds to the complex supply-demand equation. The current silver-to-gold mining ratio stands at 7-to-1, a substantial decrease from the historical average of 16-to-1. According to Schectman, this tightening supply, coupled with increasing industrial applications, creates a perfect storm for potential price volatility. Several mining companies are making waves in the sector. Yukon Metals recently reported promising silver assay results from its Star River project, while First Majestic Silver is bolstering its production capabilities through a strategic merger with Gatos Silver. Although Pan American Silver faced some operational challenges, resulting in a slight dip in output, it anticipates a production rebound later this year. Meanwhile, Silvercorp Metals has announced a 15% increase in silver reserves, particularly at its Gaocheng mine. Make sure to tune in for our expert analysis. Don't miss out on future content. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay in the loop. Your support is greatly appreciated.
This was in 2020 and 2021. He said, the Mint came to me and they said, we want you to only to release as few Silver Eagles as you possibly can to hold back public outcry. And in all of 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, most of it, the U.S. Mint was the model of inefficiency, where I could import coins from Australia, South Africa, United Kingdom, at fractions of the price of Silver Eagles, which we were buying back from the public at $11 over spot, $12 over spot, selling for 13 over spot or 14 over spot, massive premiums, massive spreads, not enough silver to go around. And he said he was told to do that from his superiors. Well, who would his superior be? That'd be Janet Yellen,
the Secretary of the Treasury.
Right. And so Janet said, just as few as possible. This went on for 3 years. He said, before I was working for the Mint, I was on the supply side. I was an authorized purchaser for one of the big companies. And I know how this side works. And they came to us at the end of last year. At the time, it would have been 2021. And he said, we'll take another 36 million, or they said, we'll take another 36 million coins. And we gave them like another 12 million. The point of it is that the U.S. Mint is supposed to issue as many Silver Eagles as is demanded by public. It's in the charter. It's law. And they didn't. 100% they didn't. So are they stockpiling silver? Were they putting it away and viewing it as strategic? And when you look at the gold that went missing from Saddam Hussein and from Gaddafi, where did all of that gold and silver go? And what about the 12 billion that the Ukraine sold to fund the war? My point is that we don't update any of these numbers, gold and silver, but I will tell you, in my mind, Kerry, the military-industrial complex is probably the ones pulling the string, not Biden. And
for sure, they run everything.
Right. And so if you need silver to make these weapons and to make high-tech aerospace and and weaponry, and then even things like nuclear submarines. You need lots of silver. You have to keep the price down, or very quickly you end up in trouble. And I mean, and maybe it is a conspiracy. Maybe I am off base, but when you see them take it out of the supply demand numbers, and when you see 7 Western banks shorting a commodity that is globally demanded and running out of availability in terms of its geologic footprint, it's at a 7-to-1 ratio right now, meaning 7 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold mined. It was 16-to-1 for 5,000 years. So it's decreasing in nature.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it's accelerating in its uses. Take military out of it. You have green and digital applications that need copious amounts of it. This Green New Deal, without silver, you're in trouble. And of course, the new Samsung battery. As someone who, I think you might drive a Tesla, and now they're talking about they're talking about these new batteries that will charge in 9 minutes and will go like 600 miles or whatever it is. And that's a game changer, but they will take over a kilo of silver per car. And so, is it conspiracy? I don't know, but I do know that there was a whole consortium of companies in Canada that have petitioned the Canadian government to reclassify silver as a strategic metal. In my mind, they're onto something, and we ought to do the same thing too. Maybe we just haven't been honest about it, and instead are doing shenanigans like this in order to fund the ever increasing war drum that we see all around the world.
AndySchectman offers a compelling perspective on the current silver market dynamics. Despite years of perceived price suppression that have led many to doubt silver's potential for significant gains, Schectman points out that historical patterns are beginning to reassert themselves. In the past, gold has led precious metal rallies, with silver following and sometimes outperforming gold. This trend seems to be continuing. Recently, silver has performed better than gold, delivering twice the returns and catching the attention of investors and analysts. Silver's unique precious and industrial metal position contributes to its complex price behavior. Unlike gold, which is primarily influenced by investment demand and economic uncertainty, silver's value is shaped by a trifecta of factors: gold prices, industrial metals demand, and the strength of the US dollar. The recent market conditions have created a perfect storm for silver's outperformance. A continued rally in gold prices, a recovering industrial metals sector, and a weakening dollar have caused the gold-to-silver ratio to contract. Previously widened to historically high levels, this ratio has now retreated to around 84, signaling silver's renewed strength relative to gold. Silver presents an attractive alternative for investors wary of entering the gold market at record-high prices. Silver remains well below its 2011 record high of $50 per ounce despite its recent gains, suggesting potential room for growth. Let's get back to the interview.
Yeah, I find that crazy, actually, to be honest with you. The lack of any media participation, the lack of any fanfare whatsoever is shockingly quiet. I mean, coming from someone who's done this for 35 years almost, when gold was $252, if you told me it would be 10 times that price and it would have virtually no attention and virtually no investment by the United States mainstream. Rick Rule often talks about 0.5% allocation from Joe and Jane Six-Pack all the way up to the Harvard Endowment Fund. And something that you follow perhaps a little bit more closely than I do, the mining shares. Now, I have a mining share portfolio because I've worked very closely with Sprott USA for a very long time. And out of respect, since they have been kind enough to trust me with their clients, I have a managed account there, and I don't even know exactly all the shares that I own. I trust my broker there, who's a friend, well enough to represent my best interests. And that might not be the smartest way to do things, but the bottom line is that I know I have a nice allocation to mining shares. And what's even more startling to me is that if you told me gold would be $2,500 and the mining shares would be beaten down the way that they have, I would say there's just no possible way that could happen. I think that's what it is. In fact, I think even the bulls don't believe it, that we've witnessed so many pullbacks that are counterintuitive. It's happened so many times, and how many times do I need to hear it? And I think the market just doesn't believe it. And that's what, to me, potentially makes this so very strong. Rick Rule, about in this environment, he would expect to see the majors go first. the ones that you mentioned, the Barracks and the Newmonts, and then the mid-tier majors, and then the juniors, and then the explorations, and of course also maybe my favorite, the royalty stocks.
The royalties for sure.
But it's interesting when you put it in that light, and I think the same thing is true about silver. People just don't believe that it will go, and I think that's fair. That's a fair point. We've watched it get hammered for so many years, and so many times when the fundamentals would say that it shouldn't. And yet gold, here we are showing or leading the way. Now, that's also typically the way things go. Gold typically leads the way in these moves, and silver follows suit, oftentimes outpacing percentage-wise gold's gains.
As silver prices hover near critical levels, investors are watching closely to see if the metal can break through key resistance points. With its current price still well below historical highs and its industrial applications continuing to expand, silver presents an intriguing opportunity for those looking to diversify their precious metals holdings. How might the ongoing transition to green energy technologies and the expansion of the electric vehicle market impact silver's long-term price trajectory and its relationship to gold? Share your perspective in the comment section. If the video resonates with you, join our community by subscribing to our channel and enabling notifications with the bell icon. Thank you for being a part of our community.